Hello everybody. Today, as governments worldwide step up to combat the COVID-19 outbreak, all the education staff will have to transition to other modalities different from face-to-face classes. That is the reason why I'm going to share some valuable insights developed in the article The Difference Between Emergency Remote Teaching and Online Learning. In this article, the authors settled the difference between well-planned online learning experiences from courses offered online in response to a crisis or disaster such as the COVID-19. At this moment, colleges and universities are working to maintain instruction during this global pandemic, and the people involved should understand those differences when evaluating this emergency remote teaching. Following the author's development of ideas, I am going to talk about effective online education, emergency remote teaching, evaluating emergency remote teaching, and at the end some final thoughts. Due to the threat of COVID-19, institutions are facing decisions about how to continue teaching and learning while keeping their faculty, staff, and students safe from a public health emergency that is moving fast and not well understood. All those unprecedented circumstances demand quick solutions in less than the ideal circumstances. No matter how clever a solution might be, and some very clever solutions are emerging, many instructors and students will find this process stressful. In these circumstances, there is a temptation to compare online learning with emergency remote teaching without paying sufficient attention to details. In the article, the authors seek to advance some careful distinctions that hopefully can inform the evaluations and reflections on this matter. But what is effective online education? Online education, including online teaching and learning, has been studied for decades. What we know from research is that effective online learning results from careful instructional design and planning, using a systematic model for design and development which have an impact on the quality. And it is this carefully designed process that will be absent in most cases in these emergency shifts. Ultimately, effective online education requires an investment in an ecosystem of learner supports which take time to identify and build. Relative to other options, simple online content delivery can be quick and inexpensive, but confusing that with robust online education is a big mistake. This means that we cannot say that the delivery of a class using video communication services such as Skype or Hangout is online education or something close to that. Let's face it, many of the online learning experiences that instructors will be able to offer their students will not be fully featured or necessarily well planned, and there is a high probability for mistakes during the implementation. We need to recognize that everyone will be doing the best they can, trying to take just the essentials to face the emergency time. However, the distinction is important between the normal everyday class and that which we are doing in a hurry with bare minimum resources and short time. So, what is emergency remote teaching? In contrast to experiences that are planned from the beginning and designed to be online, emergency remote teaching is a temporary shift of instructional delivery to an alternate delivery mode due to a crisis circumstances. It involves the use of fully remote teaching solutions for instruction or education that would otherwise be delivered face-to-face, and that will return to that format once the crisis or emergency has finished. The primary objective in these circumstances is not to recreate a robust educational ecosystem, but rather to provide temporary access to instruction and instructional supports in a manner that is quick to set up and reliable. The rapid approach necessary for emergency remote teaching may diminish the quality of the courses delivered. A full course development project can take months when done properly. The need just to get it online is in direct contradiction to the time and effort normally dedicated to developing a quality course. Evaluating emergency remote teaching. Evaluation of emergency remote teaching should be more focused on the context, input, and process elements than product. This is being recognized by some as a few institutions are beginning to announce changing to pass-fail options rather letters grades during emergency times. So final thoughts. Everyone involved in this abrupt migration to online learning must realize that these crises and disasters also create disruption to student, staff, and faculty lives outside the association with the university. Instructors and administrators are urged to consider that students might not be able to attend to courses immediately. As a result, asynchronous activities might be more reasonable than synchronous ones. Flexibility with deadlines for assignment within courses policies, and institutional policies should be considered. The threat of COVID-19 has presented some unique challenges for institutions of higher education. All parties involved, students, faculty, and staff, are being asked to do extraordinary things regarding course delivery and learning that have not been seen on this scale in their lifetimes. Although this situation is stressful, when it is over, institutions will emerge with an opportunity to evaluate how well they were able to implement emergency remote teaching. It is important to avoid the temptation to equate emergency remote teaching with online learning during those evaluations.